All right, good morning, everybody. Let's do this. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Memory Bound Paper Craft Store. And a very, very happy World Card Making Day. Today's the day. It's the first Saturday in October, and that is always World Card Making Day. Now, hey, it used to be National Card Making Day, and it started in 2006 with Paper Crafters Magazine, or Paper Crafts. Sorry about that, guys. Anybody remember Paper Crafts magazine? Back in the day, I subscribed to every single craft magazine there was. And this is an issue from 2009. Of course, they're long gone, but back in 2006, Paper Crafts magazine started up something called National Card Making Day or Card Making Day, and it was just for their subscribers. And they did this as a way to help people get a start on making their Christmas cards. You know, October is a good time to get started on your Christmas cards if you like to make your own cards. So it started out as subscribers, it became National Card Making Day, and now it is World Card Making Day, which is really pretty cool because that means not just here in Ankeny, Iowa, not just here in the Midwest, not just here in the US, but everywhere across the world, people are celebrating card making today, October 4th. So, welcome to our little spot in that big world. And I'm happy you're joining us because what we're doing today, we are going to do a craft along with the Simple Stories all wrapped up card kit. And people tend to love the card kits from Simple Stories. They make 8 cards. They're usually around $15. You know, you can't get a Hallmark card for that. And these are much better. And not only making cards and giving cards to people brings joy and happiness to somebody else, but you know what? It brings a bit of joy to myself making cards, whether I'm making them from a kit or designing something myself. I get a lot of joy and happiness. And when I'm crafting and doing things like card making, I'm not worrying about all the other things in my life that you worry about, or I'm not thinking about what's for dinner or what's going to happen in the future or what's wrong with so and so or whatever, or what the next memory bound promotion is going to be. I'm just in my little happy world crafting and making cards. So I think that's what's pretty cool about World Card Making Day, because it's a time for us just to kind of reflect and realize why we love making cards and how it is a win-win for the recipient and the giver. So let me tune in over here and see who's joining us. I'm going to do a little flip here. Let's see. So, oh, Bonnie says, thanks for doing a video this morning. Hello, Cherie. Um, you guys, we got Janet here. So, Janet, thank you for being so generous with your Saturday morning. Janet's posting comments and she'll do any linking that we need. And she's probably drinking. And I don't know if you can see this, but this is what I've got this morning. My wonderful husband, Doug, went over and got me it's a mocha latte, decaf, no whip, and 2 pumps, which sounds kind of picky. I'm one of those people, I guess. But today, if you're joining us, you can watch, or if you want to craft along, I'll tell you what you're going to need to make the cards with me. And you can do it live or later. One thing I want to share before we move on is we do have we have several specials today, and they're online at the top of our page. There's few card kits. There's a couple of Janet's that are on special. There's a couple that I designed. And there's these stamp sets from Studio Light. And let me see, this one is called, what is this one called? Party Time. Or Party. So this stamp set is normally $9.99 and it's $5. And I picked out Party and another one called Thanks because for World Card Making Day, I think these are great cards as far as having stamps that you can use on your cards. Like Happy Birthday, you did it, Make a Wish, this one's got a lot of thank you, thanks, you're awesome, you bring me joy. What does this say? Could not have done it without you. Gosh, have you ever seen that on a stamp? So these are $5 and they're normally $9.99 and they're online. If you go to memorybound.com or you can call us or come on in and see us. What a great way to celebrate World Card Making Day other than to come to Memory Bound. So those are half off basically. So check those out. We picked them out because they're perfect for cards. And they each have a little, like this one's got a little balloon on it that you can kind of see there. And this one's got a little, some little leaves, little branch. It's hard to show things like this with this lighting here back in our studio, but those are on special. And Janet, thank you. And again, you guys, Janet's here this morning. It's her day off. So we're really glad you're here, Janet. It's World Card Making Day. If you're just joining us, I'll probably show you this a few times because I really like this logo right here. I think it's pretty cool. And we're going to be making cards live together in our craft along. And we do craft alongs quite often at Memory Bound. That was something we started a couple years ago because we think it's fun and we think sometimes it's like a class, but it's really free. And sometimes it's just fun to make things together. So what we're going to be making is the Simple Stories All Wrapped Up cards. And this is from the new collection for the holidays called All Wrapped Up. And if you're joining us late, the first Saturday in October is World Card Making Day. And it was started back in 2006 as a way for the Paper Crafts magazine subscribers to get a start on their holiday cards. So this is perfect for today. We're going to make these 8 cards. And I might throw in a few little changes, but honestly, I have to tell you, I have nothing planned. So if we do anything different, it's going to be fly by the seat of your pants, which is a little stressful. I'll tell you, it is a little stressful. So we're going to make them in order in the card kit. Hey, Doug, could you? Oh, never mind. I've got one. Doug just walked by and I thought I was going to have to ask him a favor, but I don't need to. So you're going to need your card kit. And I just like to show you before we get started what you get inside of a Simple Stories card kit. They've been doing these for a few years and they're really, really amazing product. It's an amazing product. So you're going to get this page on the front that shows you all the cards made up. And some of us just look at the pictures and you roll with it. But you also get inside of it your directions. So if you want to read the directions and follow it that way, they always have a sheet of chipboard. Now these aren't stickers. This is chipboard like punch outs. And I'm going to be using my precision glue press because I really like that and it's quick. And I'm going to use that probably on my chipboard, but you can use whatever adhesive you want. And then you get your card bases, and they're really nice, heavy card bases. So you get, of course, 8, and then you get these punch out papers that are backgrounds for your cards and some of the embellishment strips. And you'll see there's some other pieces here that are punch outs. And what's funny about the card kits from Simple Stories is you don't even need a pair of scissors. No scissors required. NSR. These are all punch outs. And here's another sheet. So all of this stuff is printed and then die punched, ready to go for you. So that's what you get in your card kit, and all their card kits are pretty much the same formula, just different patterns and designs. So if you want to craft along with me live, or if you're watching later, which hey, you can't watch it later yet, can you? But later you can watch it later. But if you're watching along with me, and if you want to make the cards with me, then you should have had all of your pieces like punched out and sorted by card. That's what mine are. And everyone, I want to give a big shout out to Diana because she did this for me last week. She went through my card kit, punched out all the pieces, sorted them by card, and I really appreciate that from Diana. So if you're going to craft along, you're going to need your card kit, of course, some type of adhesive. I'm using the Tombow Mono Air because that just is, everybody's got their own little favorite thing, and that's happens to be what I'm using. A lot of people like to use the Easy Dots repositionable, the green one, and I brought that along also because it is repositionable. So if you're not sure where you want to put something, maybe you're going to go rogue and do your own thing, then you can do that and easily move things around. So I brought that along. And then I like to use pop up a few things. It's not required, but we are going to pop up a few things today. So I brought along some of the little foam squares. And you guys, I have to tell you, I'm kind of a fan of the foam tape. If I'm popping up something big, I like to use the crafty foam tape. And this is the big package. Obviously, you can tell it's kind of big. And there is a smaller foam tape also that you can use. So get some type of foam adhesive is nice if you want to pop things up. The other thing is Janet, and we can give a big shout out to Janet because she's here today. But Janet does these inserts or these pieces for the insides of your cards. And we have these available for all of the Simple Stories card kits. And this is the one that goes with the flannel season card kit. And there's 8 different cut aparts and they're labeled right here. It says Deck the Halls, Season's Greetings. So that's what's on the front of the card. And you know, she's coordinated it to go on the inside. And like, look at this one, you guys, where it's got the little trees and the 2 fonts. And what Janet does is she takes whatever's on the front of the card and she coordinates it with the inside of the cards. So that is always really handy. And if you, the other thing you can do, and you can do this later, we can get your card fronts done today, but we do have a card, or I'm sorry, a stamp set from Waffle Flower, and it's called Inside Sentiments Family Holidays. And this is a great little stamp set. For example, it says, to the 2 of you from the 2 of us, here's wishing you a warm and cozy Christmas season. May the holidays bring you and your family special moments and happy memories. Merry Christmas. So this would be another option if you wanted to stamp the inside of your cards. And Janet, I'm so glad you're here because she just linked this for us. And Sharon says happy World Card Making Day, and so does Bev. So thank you. Thank you, guys. So I've already cut these all out and I've got them sorted by my cards. But here's a tip. Here's the first tip of the day. What I would do is because right here it says Deck the Halls. So on the back, in just a pencil or a pen, I'll write Deck the Halls right here before I cut them apart. Now, did I learn that the hard way? Yeah. So I would write, this says Season's Greetings, so I would write Season's Greetings here, so that when you cut them all out, you know what goes into what card. And sometimes people just buy these card inserts just to have for their own cards that they're making. All right, so I think we're not going to do any inking today, but you could certainly do some inking on the edges of these cards. And if we run ahead of time, maybe we will do some inking. We'll see. Now, as far as like bonus items go or extras that you might want to add to your cards, a lot of times when we do our craft alongs, we're talking about the enamel dots. And the enamel dots are usually a collection's best seller. It's usually the first thing to sell out. And there are enamel dots and they're kind of glittery, which I don't know that you can see that, from the All Wrapped Up collection if you wanted to get those. Sometimes people will add the decorative brads to their cards. And many times on our craft alongs, we have added the enamel dots. And so I thought maybe today I might go ahead and add some gems because you guys, if you follow Memory Bound, you know I have kind of this problem with gems, but a good problem. So the Make It Merry gems from Honeybee do go really well with this card kit, and they go really well about anything, really, because they've got kind of your browns, your reds, you've got your white going down the middle, and some greens. And then I also grabbed the North Pole gems because I like these because they have a lot of this kind of brownish color, and it probably doesn't show super well on the camera, but in this collection, there is kind of a craft or a brownish accent color. I just ignore the blue. You don't need the blue for this, but you could use the blue here down on this side for something else. So we're going to use a few gems and add those in. And we might, I found this, I found this under the cupboard up at the front counter at Memory Bound this morning. So I grabbed this white Posca pen. We might use that, we'll see. But if we do, it's just to show you something extra you can do. Okay, so I think we're ready to start making our cards, everybody. So I'm going to move this sign out of our way. And I don't even know if I said it, but I'm Kelly from Memory Bound Paper Craft Store. We're in Ankeny, Iowa, and we just celebrated our 24th year, which is pretty amazing, that I'm very proud of. And it's thankful to a lot of you guys, a lot of our followers and our fans. So thanks for keeping us going. And Janet's here, so if you have a question, I'm going to try to read comments as we go. But if you have a question, then just let us know. And Janet gave up her Saturday morning to be here with us also. So happy World Card Making Day. Let's get started. So the first, we're going to make the cards. We're just going to follow them in order of the directions. So there's 8 cards. And if you don't have the card, if you have the card kit and you're crafting along, wonderful. If you don't, we still have the all wrapped up card kits available and the inserts and everything you need to make these 8 cards. And this collection, it came out with the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Believe, and Hard Candy Christmas, and the Flannel Season. And this was probably one of my favorites just because it's a little different. It's traditional, but not traditional, if you know what I mean. So the first card we're going to make is this one right here called Deck the Halls. And thanks to Diana, I'm going to get all my stuff close by here so I can look to see what I'm doing. But thank you to Diana. She got all of my cards ready and all my pieces together. So let's see what's in this first envelope. I started to double check them this morning and then I thought, I'm not going to worry about it. If we don't have quite what we need, we'll make it work. Teresa's done a lot of craft alongs with the card kits. Penny's done some. Sarah did one recently. They're just kind of fun to do because they're always such fun card kits. And if they quit making card kits, I'll be really disappointed. So you'll see that this one, I've cut apart the inserts from Janet. And look I did not write on the back of this one. Thus my lesson, I had to look it up. Luckily I had another set of inserts that were still here at Memory Bound that I looked up to see that it went to with this card. And we'll show you that too. So for the card number 1, you're going to need your background piece. And the one thing about Simple Stories is they don't leave any white showing on your card front. It pretty much covers the whole thing, which is kind of cool. And then you're going to need a couple of these trees. And I think this is why I love this so much, but because of the patchwork pattern. So this tree is a punch out, and then there's a chipboard tree. And the chipboard, I'll let you guys know, I know some of you worry about cards getting too thick and mailing them and things. And the chipboard in these card kits is not your normal thickness of chipboard. It's kind of a cross between cardstock sticker and chipboard, regular chipboard stickers. We need this little border piece that's going to go along the bottom of our card. And then there's 3 little chipboard stars in here, very tiny. And we've got Deck the Halls, and we have another little border piece here. Now, if you wanted to ink this, you sure could. You could do a green or a red would be nice. And then, or a brown, maybe brush corduroy. And we'll ink a card when we get later into it, but I think we'll start out just doing it like it shows. So now I can't remember who was here, and they made their cards, and they didn't fold their card base first. And I did not bring my crease tool or my bone folder, so I'm just going to use my fingers. I'm going to go ahead and fold this one first, but we'll do it both ways because sometimes I think it's nice just to see different ways. And this piece is going to go, this is our background, so it's going to go on first. So grab your rectangle with the green gingham border. Oh, it's Penny. Okay, Penny leaves her cards open, you guys. So I found that very interesting. And you can do, like I said, we'll try that and see what the difference is. Now, I'm using my glue press, precision glue press from My Sweet Petunia. And I think I know of one Memory Bound staff member that does not have one of those. Everybody else pretty much has one. The thing about using the liquid glue, you have a little bit of leeway to kind of move things around a little bit. So I've got the background on. Oh, Heidi has a really great tip, and I'm going to ring the bell and see if Chris can hear it. It's only Chris and I here this morning because the store's not really open. And Candace made 22 cards yesterday. Woo! Way to go. Chris, could you get me the sticker sheet from All Wrapped Up, pretty please? Heidi had a great idea about using the sticker sheet to decorate the insides of the cards. So Heidi, Chris is going to go grab it for us. Okay, then you have this little piece here, and it's going to go right along here, just along the bottom edge of that green, whoops, that green border. So let's get this glued together. I think it's pretty cool that paper crafting has a world holiday that's internationally known. So you'll see it's just along that green, so the green does show on there. Oh, maybe I need to get closer. Okay, give me a second to adjust things. And then I have to move this back a little bit. Maybe that's a little better so you can see it up a little more up close. Okay. Candace, we're proud of you for making all those cards, and that's perfect for National Card Making Day. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
So Heidi's idea was to get a coordinating sticker sheet when you get the Simple Stories card kits, and then you can put these on the inside. Like you could take this tree and maybe put it on the inside of your card. You could put something on the envelopes. There's lots of good things on here. These I think are $3.99. So maybe we'll do that. I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so we've got that on there. And then the next thing we're going to put on is the Deck the Halls. So I've been using my glue press, but some of you might be using a tape runner. So let's just put some tape on that. And then this goes right up here, almost to the left edge. You know, really you have to look at this, and it looks like a pretty nice card already without even adding anything else to it. And then you've got the punch out tree, patchwork tree. Now, when I make cards, I like to be pretty generous. Oops, you guys, I forgot a piece. Don't forget this green strip. So we have this little green strip, and Kelly almost forgot it. So I'm going to run this right down, a little bead of adhesive, and it just butts right up against the red piece. Now, why didn't they just put the green onto this strip? I think it's because it adds a little dimension. And then this tree goes right here. And we're going to make that flat. But then this tree, this little chipboard tree, we're going to add some adhesive to that. And you know what? I'm missing something. I am missing my poinsettia. We need to have a poinsettia right there. And I think it might be in here. These are some of the leftover pieces that Diana gathered up for me. And this might not be the right, oh yes, I think it is. I guess I should have checked things. All right, I'm going to dump my extra pieces out because with Heidi's comment about using your extras on the insides, I'm going to dump them out here because I did have a bit of extras, and Diana got them all ready for me here, and I have a few extra pieces here. So I'm going to just put those up out of sight because we might be using those. Here's the poinsettia piece. So I'm going to put that one down flat also. And the larger poinsettia goes on the bottom, and it kind of goes at an angle like this. So I'm going to put that down. Now for this piece, we're going to pop that up with a couple of foam dots. I'm really curious to know if anyone is crafting along live. I know some of you like to watch and then you craft along later. Now I'm pretty generous when I'm using any type of foam, especially on a card front. I like to be pretty generous with it. I might have said dangerous, but I have to tell you guys, it's weird being here by yourself, and I'm just basically talking to myself, and it's kind of strange, but it works. So then we put this tree right down here. Wow, that's a pretty cool card already. Now what we have left are these three little tiny stars, and you could use those, you can pick those up with your fingers, but I also brought some tweezers. And I've got the Spellbinders tweezers, and at home, these are here at the store. At home, I have Mrs. Grossman's tweezers. Does anybody remember Mrs. Grossman's? They're silver tweezers, super sharp like these. And these are the kind that you squeeze to grab. Some of the tweezers are reverse and you squeeze to open. And today I grabbed the ones that are squeezed to grab. So for something this tiny, it's kind of hard to put adhesive on the back of them. And yes, you could if you wanted to, but I'm just going to put a little drop of adhesive where I'm going to put the stars. And then I'm just going to pick up my stars and put them down and give them a little push. Now, the precision glue press, since we're all here together today, I got to move that one over a bit. This glue, the Nouveau glue that fits in here, has been out of stock for a few months, and we should have it back by the end of October. So what I did was I took my glue bottle at home last night and I just filled it up with some art glitter glue. So you can use different glues in there. It doesn't have to be the glue from Nouveau. Oops. Uh-oh, I accidentally rang the bell. All right, I need to trim this one off a little more because I've got the inside of my card. So on there that is designed by Janet. So it says deck the halls, and then it says fa la la, wishes for a wonderful holiday season. So let's get this. And I'm probably going to run out of my tape runner today, but I've got a refill on hand. And there we go. We put this on the inside. And I'm going to grab a little piece of extra piece here. And we'll just, whoops, uh-oh. I had dropped that where I did not want to drop it. So I just put a little extra piece of ephemera there, a little punch out piece. So card number 1, deck the halls, fa la la. I want to say fa la 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 la, wishes for a wonderful holiday season. And Janet just explained that she put this inside here because deck the halls they're part of the song. So see, she thinks this out very nicely. Card number 1, done. I'm going to set it over to the side for us. Let's move. I'm going to move my envelope now. The envelopes aren't included, so if you want envelopes, we do sell them in packs of 8 for just white envelopes, and you can get a pack of 8, which would be perfect for your a card kit, especially if you're giving it as a gift. The other thing is that we also have these in packs of 250. So if you make a lot of cards and you just want to have a bunch of white envelopes so you don't have to worry about it, we do have those available in packs of 500 or 250. Okay, we're ready for card number 2. And let me show you which one is card number 2. It's kind of hidden on your sheet, but it's this one right here that says Season's Greetings, and it's got like a circle background. So for card number 2, we have a card base, and we have a green with a little bit of holly or some evergreen. Do you guys, my workspace is getting messed up already. We have a strip of a pattern paper that matches. And look at this piece right here, kind of old-fashioned print. So you're going to need that. And then let's empty out the envelope and see what else Diana pulled for me. And Diana, I don't know that you're watching, but I really appreciate that you did this for me because it saved a lot of time. And things have been a little crazy right now. Okay, we have the Season's Greetings. We have that circle that's going to be kind of a grounding piece. And then we have, let's see, chipboard. We have a chipboard present. And then we have some punch-out presents, a couple of punch-out presents. Looks like I need to move this forward. Move my stuff up. And then we have a chipboard candy cane and a chipboard little piece of holly. So those are the 3 chipboards, and everything else is from the punch-out sheets. So we're going to start with putting our background on, and we're going to leave our card open this time. We're going to do a penny. So And we just, Heidi just made a comment and she said she's been using her T-square ruler, which I did bring those along from Pear Blossom Press. And we are going to use this in our card making today also. And you know what? We could probably, let's just see how it works just to put these fronts on, because sometimes it's hard to get those lined up. The T-squares are really an amazing tool. I really love using them. They're great for centering things on the fronts of your cards or on the inside, but they also have what they call a jig on the back, which is really nice because it allows you to have a perfect mat. And we're going to use that also. But let's try it here for just putting this on. So I've got my card base kind of locked in there, and then I'm going to slide my paper in and see how that works. Now this is a little, whoops, kind of moved it out of the way. That worked pretty well. The other thing you can do, Katie uses like her trimmer and she'll like put this into the corner of her trimmer, or if you have a scoring board, and it just kind of lines it all up. And when you get, oops, I do have a little bit of glue on there though. Oh no, I guess that's paint from another project. Okay. Um, it's nice to have it lined up. And when you get the kits from Simple Stories, everything is cut perfectly. So it does line up exact. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes at home, I don't always get things lined up or cut exactly the right size. Okay, Mary says she's watching and she's going to make the cards later. So this is that piece that's got kind of the old-fashioned writing on it, and it's going to go right over here. And I probably should have told you to put this piece on first. So if you haven't put that piece down, I would say I'm going to let mine float for a minute because we got to get this stripe on here, because this goes all the way to the edge. Okay, now if you do what I do, it's okay, because you really needed to put this piece on first and then this piece on top of it, or this piece first and this on top, or however, but I didn't do that, and it's okay. I still have a little strip of maroon right there of the burgundy, and I don't mind. It's going to be great. We are going to need our circle piece next, so let's get that piece glued up. And this goes pretty much in the middle of the card. And I'm gluing all of these pieces on flat. And you know what? I think we might do this whole card flat. We popped up the tree on this card to give it some dimension. And we'll do this card flat just to give you an idea of a flat card, and then we'll do some others with dimension. Okay, so we have that down, and then we're going to be putting Season's Greetings is going to go here, and our little holly piece is going to go here. And then we've got presents. We're going to put this one down. I'm just kind of laying it out just so there's a lot of pieces on this one, and I don't want to mess you guys up. And then we're going to have this piece here, and we got this cute little candy cane, if I can pick it up. That's going to go here. So I probably would move Season's Greetings up just a bit. And then we've got this. Okay, so that's the lay of the land, everybody. Okay, and then let me find out, you guys, do you think you have a close enough view? Do you need me to bring the camera any closer? And if you do, I can do that. And if it looks okay to you, I'm just looking at it on a small screen. Let's put this down. Season's Greetings. And this is chipboard. I like to use a liquid glue on chipboard, but it's not necessary. You can always do what you want with it. You can use your regular adhesive if you want. And we're going to put the holly down over here because the candy cane is going to kind of overlap it. So we need to put this down first. It goes right there. Boy, we are booking it here, guys. And then this gift with kind of the old-fashioned wrapping paper needs to go on before the other gifts, because birthday layer on top of this one. So we'll put that one there, and then we've got a little gift here. See how fast it is when you use your glue press? You just pick it up and you just squeeze the handle. We'll put this gift there. It has some dimension without popping things up because there's some chipboard pieces like this cute little candy cane. So we're going to put this, and the candy cane goes here. So now we're going to fold our card closed. And that was making our card without folding it. That was the Penny method. So Penny probably is not watching today. She's got things going on, but Penny, we used your trick. Now let's go ahead. We haven't done this on the first card, but let's grab some gems. And I told you how much, you guys, if you're a Memory Bound fan, you know that I love gems and I have about all the honeybee gems. So today I brought Make It Merry because that's what I had in my stash. I think North Pole, and really you could probably pull out any of your gems and they've got something red or maybe white or something that you could use on them. So what I want to do is I'm going to take, and I'm using the tweezers because I don't have as good of luck picking them up without. So I'm going to take this little green gem and put it right on that present. And then I'm going to take a white one and put it right here. And then I'm going to take a red one and I'm going to put it right here. And then I think, and you can just kind of see, they're just pretty subtle, just little gems there. Just has little accents. So there's card number 2. So if you're crafting along, do you need a little break? Are you doing all right? You got card number 2 done? Look at, okay, when I do stuff like this, I just have to keep looking at them. Oh my gosh, let's put gems on the tops of these trees from card number 1. I just thought of that. Let's see, let's do red gems. So I just grab them with my tweezers. Now this is extra. This isn't anything you have to do, but a lot of times we add enamel dots and I just thought it'd be fun to show something different today. All right, card number 1 and 2, and we're ready for card number 3. Okay, Janet says, when I get my cards done, I always stand them up on a shelf just to look at them for a few days. I think there's a lot of us that would confess to that. Oh, you guys, I didn't put the insides in this card, and then they're cool. Sorry about that. So it says season's greetings, and then Janet's, the one she designed for us says, may your Christmas be merry and bright. And what I did was I took some color vibes that coordinates with the All Wrapped Up collection. It's called Robin's Egg, and I cut my piece a little bit bigger than the inside. So let's put this in. We got to do that because then I can open and close it and look at it a few times. It's so satisfying. It's fun to make, satisfying to look at what you made, and then satisfying to give it to somebody. So there we go. Season's greetings. Got a couple, 3 little gems on there, and then you open it up and it says, may your Christmas be merry and bright. Okay, let's do card number 3. Let's look to see what card number 3 is because I do not know yet. Oh, it's the Merry Christmas card. So it's this one right here is card number 3. So I mentioned earlier, I'll probably mention it with every card because I'm so appreciative, but Diana took my card kit and she punched everything out and sorted it by cards. And I really recommend that you do that when you're making these cards. There we go, we're back in focus because it's just so darn helpful to gather all your pieces. And you know what, you could have a card making little party with your friends if you each got a card kit. It wouldn't even have to be the same one. And these are cards that are all designed for you, so you don't really even have to worry about what paper you should do or what size you should cut. It's all done for us. So for card number 3, you're going to need this background that's got the little, I call them little snowdrops because they're kind of random little circles in the red and the craft down the middle. Ah, Bunny. Bunny makes me laugh because she's so right. She and Marcia gave me a t-shirt once because I do say that. I'm like, I just want to look at it. So that's awesome. All right, we need this piece, which has got kind of a little scalloped gray edge. And then we need another piece of the punch out that's got, oh, I can't pick it up. It's kind of a plaid, a diagonal plaid. So those are our background pieces. Oh, wait, we got one more. We got our little focus point here. It's not really a circle or an oval, you guys. It's an odd shape. So remember that when you're making cards or designing cards, it doesn't have to be an oval or a circle. It could be an odd shape. And we need Mary, and we need the stocking from the punch outs. So we need those two pieces. And then from the chipboard, oh gosh, I'm having a hard time picking things up. We need Christmas. I'm going to put them right here because it's easier to see them here than in my hands. And we need some holly, and there's some little tiny stars. Oh my gosh, they're super small. So that's what we need for card number 3. So we're going to start out with our background here. Now let's do something a little different with this background. And I don't know necessarily that it lends itself, but let's trim it down so that a little bit of our card front shows. So let me get my trimmer. This is not in your directions. The card's intended to have this cover the whole front of your card. And that is a great look. It really is. We're going to take it just down a bit, and we're going to take this to 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut 1/4 of an inch off the top and 1/8 of an inch off each side. Because of this pattern, I want it to be even. So let's see, this is normally there, so I have to go here. And let's cut this. Whoops. We'll have to do 4. All right. Oops. Yeah, I did that right. You guys, I'm questioning myself. Okay, so I cut it down so it's going to have 1/4 of an inch white border, which is a little different. But then that means we need to get out our T-square. And I put it over here in another card because we're going to demo it later. This is the A7 T-square, and it has the, I don't know that you can see, it's got the 1/8 inch and the 1/4 inch. This part is for measuring and centering a A7 or a 5x7 card. But this part, these are like little jigs and there's a groove there. And we're doing 1/4 inch. So I'm going to flip it over upside down. Let me put some adhesive on here. And I'm putting some tape adhesive, just, I don't know why. So what you do is you take your piece, and Heidi said she's been doing this for the insides of her cards, and you butt it right up against the ruler. Or I'm sorry, I got it. You butt it up against, there's a groove in there, and my card, it like gets stuck. You can kind of see if I get it under there, it gets stuck on that groove. So you line it up there, and I just kind of hold it down as firm as I can. Let me get up into the camera. And then this piece, you just line it up against the edge of the ruler. Oops. Sorry, we're doing 1/8 inch. All right, let me flip it over because we're going to do 1/8 of an inch. So, because I cut 1/4 of an inch off my card. So we're going to do the 1/8 of an inch. Same thing. You line it up there and then just slip your paper on, and it's going to mat it perfectly. Look at that, you guys. You know, a lot of times I'm like moving my paper around, trying to figure out where it goes, you know, like this, and then it sticks and you got to pull it up. But with these T-squares from Pear Blossom Press, it works perfect all the time. Now I don't remember what card I pulled that out of, but that's okay. Since I made that shorter, what I'm going to have to do now is make these pieces shorter. So I just need to cut 1/4 of an inch off. Not hard to do at all. And you don't have to. I could have those go to the end. So if you're doing it like they suggest, then skip all of this. Don't cut these pieces off and you're good to go. So I think the first piece we're going to put on is this piece right here. And it looks like I cut it down pretty well. So we might have to pick up the pace, you guys, if we're going to get all of our cards done. So this piece, the little scallop edge goes up against the brown speckle. I think that's speckle or little polka dot. And then we have this piece, which is going to go right next to it. So let's put some glue on here. If you're crafting along, tell us what kind of adhesive you're using. I'm really curious. So that just butts up against it. So look at that background. That's just pretty cool on its own. And then we have this kind of crazy piece, but that's what all wrapped up is about. It is not perfect shapes. There's a lot of patchwork, which I really like. And I don't think it matters necessarily what direction you put this. I'm going to put the little bit bigger side on the top, and it goes a little bit more towards the top than the bottom. Okay, so we got that down, and we're going to need Merry and Christmas. And you could pop both of these up or one of them up. I think I am going to pop up, oh, this is a tough decision. I'm going to pop up Christmas and leave Merry flat. You can do it all flat. You guys, if you follow Tim Holtz, I will just say you do you. And we'll put the Merry down. And you can just have a little bit of that green shape sticking up. Now this is pretty small, so let me get out my smaller little dots here. Now if you don't have little foam squares, then that's not a problem. Just take your bigger ones. You have some like this, and you just cut them, but cut them while they're still on the backing. You can just cut them like that. So it's nice to have both sizes, but sometimes you run out, or maybe you just haven't gotten any yet. So you can see I've got my little foam pieces. I'm going off camera because I got a wastebasket right here that I can put that backing in, so I don't have to clean up later. And I'm going to put Christmas right here. But you can see the patchwork design. That's a lot of what you see on this. Oh, Bunny says she thinks the pear blossom T-squares are awesome, and so do we. Okay, we got a little stocking here, so let's put some glue on it. And it just sticks kind of right underneath here. And then everything else is like bonus, although I don't, oh, I see. Got a little chipboard. With the chipboard, I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'm just gluing around, you know, I'm changing it up and just doing different things. Now I got 4 stars. Oh, it's like a 4-star hotel, a 4-star restaurant. So again, I'm just going to make some glue dots. I think, so I'm going to put one up here. And you can look exactly at your picture and do what you want. And there's a little group of 3 right there. And I'm going to put the big one. I kind of like to turn them sideways. I think it just makes them seem happy. So we're putting a large and a medium and a small here in that little grouping. And then I'm going to put this other one up here. And you might have an additional star, and you can put your stars wherever you like. Now the other thing you can use on these is Nouveau drops. If you have some coordinating Nouveau drops, I think I need to put some gems in this little stocking arrangement because I think it's pretty neat. So let's put one there, a little gem in that flower. I'm going to put a different little gem up here. I'll put one right there. And then I think those 3 berries, we're just going to go wild with gems today. And you might not have the gems, and that's perfectly fine. Just skip it. If you have Nouveau drops, you can put those in if you want, or you can just leave it. They don't have to have. They're beautiful cards. Oh, and I missed one. They're beautiful cards with or without. I just thought, oh, look at here. I had a little gem fall on my table. Okay, so then the inside, this says Merry Christmas, and then the inside says wishing you a cozy Christmas filled with peace and joy. Now, what I did with this, another coordinating color vibe paper, which is a cardstock from Simple Stories, is tomato. So tomato and robin's egg are the two colors I grabbed. I cut it out a little bit bigger than the insert, and then we're going to put that on the inside of the card, and then we're going to look at it. We'll look at it a couple times because it makes me feel good. I loved Janet's comment when she said she sets them up so she can look at them for a while. And as you guys know, Janet makes amazing cards. All right, so Merry Christmas. Wishing you a cozy Christmas filled with peace and joy. So there's 3 cards. See, I have a little trouble because I just want to look at them all. They're just so cool. Okay, so we're ready for card number 4. So let's get out the stuff for card number 4. Diane said that Janet's inserts make all the difference. And that's very true. And let's see. And she also said she loves the card kits. Yeah, you know what? I know some of you make them exactly like it shows, and some of you go rogue. And whatever you do, it's great. And you can just, what do they say? You do you. So we're ready for card number 4. Wow, our timing is pretty darn good, I would say. Card number 4 has the bird on it. So it's this one right here. It says Glad Tidings. So let's go with that one. So for card number 4, you're going to need your background paper. Move those out of the way. You're going to need your background. You're going to need another part of your background is this piece here. It's a little banner piece. And then you've got a red with a little black stripe in it. And you've got a little strip that's a floral piece with some nice colors. And then you got another banner piece, kind of a short and chubby banner piece. And you have a long and chubby banner piece. And then you have the chipboard bird. And also the Glad Tidings is chipboard. And we have a holly that's chipboard. And then we have poinsettias here. So gather your pieces up and let's go. Now, maybe for this card, let's do some inking just so you can see what it looks like with some ink on it. And I didn't bring a huge selection. Oh, I brought pumice stone. I thought I brought something darker. All right, well, I brought pumice stone, so let's give it a try. And if it's not dark enough, then I'll ring the bell. So I usually just make sure you ink up your blending tool. And oh, I think actually, you guys, I think pumice stone is going to be really nice because it's kind of not real showy. It just is there and it adds a lot, but it's not crazy. Look at, I got paper on my table, so I can just do that. And then you can see how you like it inked. If you like it plain or you like to have a little distress ink on it. But I'm going to ink all of the pieces to start with, and then they're ready to go. And this is very subtle, which I think is kind of nice. This is a Maggie color. We call pumice stone a Maggie color. So if you follow Memory Bound at all, then you know Maggie. And so we get that inked up. I'm doing the background or kind of the base pieces first. I think you can tell on this one. So you can see the right half is inked and the left half is not inked. So we'll ink these up. So this is card number 4. So I might need to pick up the pace a little bit. I've been doing a lot of chit chat. My concern is that our camera doesn't die. but I did want to ink one just so you could kind of see. And this is a very subtle inking. So if you're at home and you're crafting along and you want to get out an ink pad and see what it does, please do so. And if you don't, then you can get a cup of coffee, or you can go ahead and start assembling the card. In hindsight, I could have had this inked before you got here. Now, when it has a little bit of white, like right in there, sometimes I just go over it like that, just to make it look a little more vintagey. And here is the little bird. He's kind of vintage looking anyway, isn't he? Okay, so that, like I said, it's kind of a subtle inking, but we did it, so we can say we did it. So let's take this piece, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it up. And then we're going to stick it onto this card front. Now with the liquid glue, it gives you a little bit of give, a little bit of time to kind of shift it around and get it where you want it. The next piece we're going to put on, we got to put on our top borders. So this is going to go up here at the top, and then this piece, and then we're going to put our banner pieces on. So let's put this one on first. You know what? I need to hold that one because we need, actually, we're putting this on first, this banner piece. So let's put a little glue on that. Sorry about that, gang. So this is going to go up all the way to the top of the card. So it's going to cover that gingham up there. And then this piece is going to come down just a little bit. Nope, nope, nope. Put that piece aside. Kelly needed to look a little closer. Take your red piece, and that's the piece that's going to go on. And actually it goes on under. It goes on under the banner piece, but we're doing it a little different. And then we're going to put this piece on. So you can put these pieces on first and then the banner, or you can do what I just did and do it a little backwards. And you can probably see by the picture here that actually the red stripe piece went on, then this brown banner, and then the little pattern strip. That is very, very interesting. Ours is a little different that we're making today, and that's all right. So now we're going to put this piece on, the little short chubby banner piece, and that's going to kind of go off to the side here, and that goes all the way up to the top of the card. And that is so cool, you guys. I really like it. The next piece that we need to do, we need to get this poinsettia piece on. So let's glue it up because that's going to have, the bird's going to kind of lay over the top of this. Now, like the other one we did, the full flower goes on the bottom, and then the little piece of the flower goes on the top. And we're going to place it right there. So the little tip goes about down to the plaid. Now I think we'll do our bird, and we're going to pop him up. We're going to pop him up. So let me put some foam dots underneath of him. I'm using some little and some big. And I think let's put one here. I mentioned it earlier, but when it's something on a card front, I usually like to be generous with adhesive and especially with foam things. Okay, so let's put our bird on about right there, and he's popped up, which is kind of cool. And then we've got glad tidings, which goes above him. So I'm going to put tidings on first. And here we've got glad. I think that's kind of a neat font. Kind of a messy font that looks like it's been sort of painted and kind of coming off. And then we also have our little chipboard holly piece here. And I'm going to make that flat also. You could pop it up if you wanted to. And this piece just goes like right here. I kind of like it next to the glad tidings. It becomes part of the title. So there is that. And whoops, I knocked my glue press over. Okay, so we got 4 cards. We're halfway done, everybody. Halfway done, and we're on our way to card number 5. I don't have an oh, the insert I already put in here. Can you do that, Chris?
I do.
Temp up. Oh. I had to ring Chris, you guys, to turn the temperature down because I'm sweating back here. My eyes are sweating. Thank you, Chris. I know I don't know what I'm pointing at. So glad tidings, and the inside says, "May this season bring you peace and joy." I forgot I had already put that inside there. Okay, so card number 5. Let me show you which one is card number 5. If you're following along on the directions and maybe not putting things out of order like I just did, flip your page and we're doing the one with the Santa. Now you'll notice with this collection and a lot of the collections from Simple Stories recently, you have your normal pieces and then you have your line drawn pieces. So like this Santa, the bird, I would call those line drawn. And then you have things like Holly Jolly or the stocking, and those are kind of, I don't know, normal drawn, you might say. So let's see what we need for card number 5. Whoops. I'm out of the envelope. Well, we need a card base for sure, so I'm just going to fold that in half right now and move it out of the way. And you know what? My fingers are inky now, so I'm probably going to mess things up. We've got this polka dot background paper, which is really cute, really fun. And we also have this tag with some music designs. And we have a border piece. We have 2 border pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. And then we have another, look at, it's another knot circle piece. So we'll call that knot circle. So we need that. And then here's our Santa. And we have everything else is chipboard. Santa and these pieces are all from the punch out. And then we have the word Santa and some greenery. And then we have a couple stars and we have comes here. I bet Santa or here comes Santa or Santa comes here. Either way you want to do it actually. So let me move that aside and let's get out our background piece. We're going to put this on just to get things rolling here. Let's get this on. And put that down and give it a good press. And then let's just look this time, you guys, instead of Kelly jumping in, let's just look and see how this works. So we're going to have this piece at the top. We have this piece at the bottom. And then we're going to be putting on our knot circle piece. So let's do that. And you know, you could switch, okay, I'm not going to do it on this one. You could switch these and put the top on the bottom and the bottom on the top if you wanted to. You could also switch these and go like so if you like to have that green, both the greens on the bottom. So let's put this on. And then next is going to be our knot circle piece, and it's going to go just about like that. I'm going to put the narrower part at the top and the wider part at the bottom. You guys, look how cool this precision glue press works. And it actually is kind of down like this. It kind of dips, it's kind of a little more toward the bottom than the top. And then we've got a tag. Now, I did not, oh my gosh, here, I did bring string. Okay, so the tag, if you had some string at home, you could use it on the tag. And I brought something that I absolutely love. And I just don't know where it's at on my table. Oh, here, it's on the floor. Okay, I love red and white, any really two-color twine, but I really love red and white. And what I'm using today is it's from Vivint, and it's from Spellbinders, and it's a 6.99 spool and 50 meters, whatever that is. I have no idea how long 50 meters is, but it's a lot. And that was another thing different I wanted to do with this card kit. So let's go ahead and tie some in this tag. I forgot all about this. But to me, red and white twine is just happy, and I like happy stuff. And I'm just going to tie it. I'm not doing anything special. I think I'll just tie it in a knot. And I got to cut this side off. I think I'm going to shorten them both a little bit. Now, I didn't happen to, my scissors are a little old and a little dull. I'll show you guys something funny about these scissors and take you down memory lane like we did Wednesday for our anniversary. We celebrated 24 years here at Memory Bound. And Memory Bound was an elite EK Success store. With EK Success, we were an elite store. That just means that we sold a lot of their product. And one year, um, they had a tool that came out called the Inscriblio. Does anybody remember the Inscriblio? Because it was like an engraver. You know how you went to a carnival and you got those little flat metal bracelets or necklaces, and they would take that buzzy thing and write your name on it? Well, the Inscriblio came out, and I was with my friend Dawn, and she was going crazy with the Inscriblio. It was really funny. So you'll see there's my name that she put on there for me, and you'll see a KG. So anyway, that's an old story. And we did have a question that was asking which gems I'm using. And today I have a drawer full of gems, you guys. Today I'm using Make It Merry from Honeybee. And North Pole would also be a good one for this. But if you have any of the gems, you probably have some that have red on them. So grab those. Let's put this tag down. I got carried away with stories. Let's do this. And then the tag kind of goes about here. And if you don't put it in the exact spot where it shows, it's okay because everything fits. And I think Santa deserves to be popped up. If anybody deserves to be popped up with foam dots, it's Santa Claus. So let's put a few on the back of him. And then I want to put some on his feet. So I'm getting the little ones. And remember, I mentioned that if you don't have these little ones, then just take your big ones and cut them. If you use a lot of foam dots, I recommend that you get both sizes and get white and black, because if you're working with a darker color paper, then it's really nice to have the black ones too. I hope it's okay to put Santa down. I think it is. So he's standing about here. Now, okay, so we'll put Santa down, and then we've got, oops, I got to move him up because I don't have room for the word Santa. So I should have laid this out before we assembled it, guys. So let's move Santa up a bit, because then we need to put down Santa. And I'm not going to put Santa down yet. I'm just gluing it, because really here you got to kind of size it out, because you want here comes, and then Santa's going below that. So let's get the here comes. And I'm using this right below his feet. Oops. I've got glue on my fingers now, and things are sticking to my fingers. And then we have Santa. Now, Santa would be a great thing to pop up. If you wanted to pop that up, that would have worked really well. And then we have this piece of this greenery spray. It goes over here. They just think of everything. And then I've got a couple stars, a couple of chipboard stars. So I'm going to put one here and one here. And you know, you're going to have extra stars. So you could even put more stars on if you wanted to. And let's put some gems. Oh gosh, this one happens to have these white, and we're going to put this one. You can tell I haven't planned anything. We're going to put that one on his hat. And then I'd like to put some red ones on the centers of these flowers. Looks like I need one more little gem. So we just gemmed it up a little bit. Now the other thing you can do, this is just an idea, a lot of times if I'm using gems or nouveau drops or enamel drops, sometimes the end of a word. There's no I here to dot your I, but sometimes just at the end of the little swish after the A, I put a gem on. So it says, "Here comes Santa," and then I've got, "May your days be merry and your heart be light." And I hope that is the correct one, but a lot of them are interchangeable. And what I did different with this insert, I cut it down more. So I've got more of the red showing and less of the actual insert. Now some of you like, "Oh, I don't know what to write. I don't want to have to write a bunch of stuff in my cards." So cut these down a little more and add your paper. And then what I'll do is I'll add a few of these stars. So let me put here, this will take up even more space for you. So the extra stars that you'll have with your kit, we'll just put them in here. I got one that's upside down, but hey, look at there. It just took up some more space, some more writing space. All right, so here comes Santa. May your days be merry and your heart be light. So that was card number 5. And now we got to do card number 6. And let me show you which one that is. It's May your days be merry and bright. And it's got that cool patchwork word. That's kind of symbolic of this collection called All Wrapped Up. A lot of the things are what they call patchwork. So here's card 6. We only have 3 more cards to do. I think we're going to be just fine with our time. So let's fold the card base. We'll whip through this one. And let me show you what you need. And I do recommend a crease tool or a bone folder to really get these flat because they have very heavy card stock in their card kits. Okay, guys, so we're going to need this background piece. And I feel like we've had a background piece just like that. And then we're going to need the little gingham, the kind of greenish gingham. And then another background piece is the stripe. And actually, this card is horizontal, which I love that they have horizontal here. And then the other pieces we need are going from the punch out sheets. We need the little phrase, "May your days be merry and bright." And here's more of that design that I'm calling line drawing. I don't know if that's the real name for it, but that's what I'm calling it. And then we have 2 chipboard pieces, the word bright, and we have these fun Christmas lights from the chipboard. So there's not a lot of pieces to this one. So let's get the background. This might be, I think the next 3 cards are horizontal. And I like that about Simple Stories because they do a few horizontal, a few vertical. And Teresa has done demos or craft alongs where she's actually changed them from horizontal to vertical and vice versa. So you can take what you have and just be a little creative with it. This would have been a good one to cut down if you wanted to have some of the white showing. Oh, I got to turn our light back on, guys. Okay, so let's make sure that I put this together in the proper order. So let's lay it out so we know what we're doing. Can't always say that. Can't always say that. So it looks like we're going to put those pieces on, the strip across the top with the red and the craft and then the little gingham. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on. merry and bright, and then we're going to do our other pieces. Okay, let's get these on. It's not often that I'm here by myself, and I do feel kind of silly, um, like I'm talking to myself. So, all right, so we got that piece down. Now, I'm going to tell you, I never use liquid glue ever. And Diana, that works here, she's always been a liquid glue girl. And most memory bound staff members did not use liquid glue, at least for like your card fronts and things. They might have used it for other things. Um, but she has been a liquid glue person. And it's kind of crazy because now many of us are liquid gluers and like the liquid glue. It's super fast, especially in the glue press. So then we're going to take this piece and it's going to go up just over that craft a little bit. May your days be merry and bright. And we've got these two ornaments, which I think are super cool. So let's glue these down. And this one goes just about to the top. It overlaps slightly and it goes just to the top of that craft line. So just about right there, and it overlaps onto our sentiment here. And we'll get this one, and this one is going to hang down like so. And it looks like I just mixed those two up. Looks like the in Simple Stories has these two flipped, but Kelly doesn't. So hopefully that's not going to mess us up too much. And I'd like to put foam tape on, or foam dots on the bright. So let's do that to pop it up. You don't have to pop it up. I always tell people it's a free world. You can pop it up or not pop it up, and we still like you. And whoever you give your cards to, they're not going to say, gosh, they should have popped that up. Don't know why they didn't. So sometimes I give them press them down so that when I peel the back off, I will say, you guys, you maybe have noticed, but there's been several cards that I should have paid a little bit better attention to on the directions. For example, on this one, these two are flipped, which would be a good look. However, I use liquid glue, and once you use liquid glue, you are not going to be moving things. But I think it's just fine. So it shows you that if you put something in what you might think is the wrong place, it's okay. Let's look at this. See, I think this is still going to work. Okay. This also I think would be kind of neat popped up. And boy, that's a lot of little light bulbs. So I know we're going to want one on the ends. And you know what? I'm just going to put one on every little square on every ball. Now, if you want to do this flat, no problemo. Go flat. Okay, let me peel. Oops, I just threw. Do you guys ever throw something away instead of setting it down? Okay, so let's peel these off. My gosh, this is card number 6. We only have 2 more cards to go. It's a lot of little squares to pull off. Now, I brought my foam tape, but you know, I haven't really used it today because most of the pieces we're popping up are smaller. Now, kind of look at this and see, how do you want it to be? Do you want it to be like this? They actually have, in the picture, it's actually like this. So I think I'm going to go with that. And I'm actually bending it down a little bit. Oh my gosh, that's cute. That's really cute. And what I'm thinking about is putting a little gem. Got this little green one. I'm going to put a little green one there. Actually, they're not little. These are bigger gems. Oops, that one just popped off. You might have seen that. Oops, that one popped off. Oop. Okay, I'm going to pull one off over here. So when I'm pulling the gems off, I slide them so the adhesive comes off with them. Okay, and I've got some rogue gems that went flying. So I put a little gem on the ornament here and the ornament there. And you could put them elsewhere. Gosh, you could put glossy accents on these Christmas lights. That would be really neat. Now the inside, it says, may your days be merry and bright. And then it says, the inside says, sending you holiday cheer to you and yours. And what I did was I've cut a piece of that robin's egg paper, um, bigger than the cut apart, and I measured all this and cut it so that I could mat this 1/4 of an inch from the edge and use my A7 T-square. So let me show you how that works. We did it once earlier unexpectedly. So to use these little jigs, there's grooves right here, and this is 1/4 inch and this is 1/8. You have to flip it over. So you would flip it over, and Heidi mentioned earlier in our, should I say, show, that you could she was using this for the insides of her cards. So what you do is you lock this in. I call it kind of locking it in. It gets in that groove and it's stuck. And then you have your other piece here, and let me put some adhesive. See, there's my note on the back. May your days be. So I knew which piece this went with because I cut these all out ahead of time. Okay, so this is kind of, I call it locked into that groove. And then I just put this right along the edge of the ruler. And it's going to be a perfect mat. It's so handy, you guys. Handy, handy dandy. Okay, let's put this on the inside of our card. Diane and I decided that we really liked, this might be our favorite Christmas collection from Simple Stories that we really liked all wrapped up. So let's put that on the inside. Now, if you could take a marker, I didn't bring a single marker, but you could take a marker and color that in. Oh gosh, it's so pretty. So, so nice. May your days be merry and bright, sending holiday cheer to you and yours. Okay, we're ready for card number 7. So card number 7 is Holly Jolly. It's kind of that retro, groovy look font there. And it's got the bingo card. So let's get our items out for Holly Jolly. Take a look and see what's in the envelope. The envelope, please, is what we say. So we have our card base. All right, so we have our card base. We have our background here that's got the gingham with the red border. We've got the bingo card. And then we've got a couple of strips that are going to go across our card. And then we have that focus piece or grounding piece, that oval. It really is an oval this time, so it's not an oval that isn't an oval. It really is one. And then from the punch outs, we've got these little snow globes, which are cute. And from the chipboard, we've got 3 stars, holly jolly, a little branch, and wishes. So let's push these little pieces aside. And let's start with this piece. That's always easiest. We know where it goes. And let's get this on the front of our card. Like I said, if you use a liquid adhesive, I'm kind of moving this around to get it where I want it before I actually press it down. So might have to move it up just a bit. Okay, so there's our background. And then we've got these border pieces. So we're going to, and this is, whoops, this is the horizontal. We need to flip it around. So we're going to have the stripe piece pretty close to the top, and then it goes like so. But I think what we might do is do this, I'm purposely doing something wrong this time instead of accidentally. So let's put this stripe on up close to the top. Whoops. Boy, that's sticking quickly. Okay, I got to put a little more glue. I don't know why, but that was really sticking down before I wanted it to. There's one in every crowd, right? So now if you want to follow the directions, you would put this piece on first, just like so. And I like that because the green makes a nice border between the 2 patterns. I like that a lot, but I'm going to flip it just so you can see it. You can look on your package and you can see what that looks like, and it really does look good. So it's kind of silly what I'm doing, but then the next piece we're going to need is our oval that's really an oval. And this piece, it's kind of centered, pretty much centered all around the town. And then we've got our bingo card, which is really cute. I love bingo cards, any type of ephemera. And Diane just made a comment. I don't know if it got posted, but she said she would use glossy accents and nouveau drops. You could add glitter. There's so many things you could put on these cards. And I didn't think to bring glossy accents. I should have. Or nouveau drops, or whatever you want to use. But I totally agree, Diane, that that would be great. I think some glossy accents on here or some nouveau or glitter would be really neat on those lights. Okay, so we have our bingo card on, and we've got these two snow globes, and we're going to kind of lay out things so Kelly doesn't mess up. It kind of goes like that. We've got some stars, and Holly Jolly is going to go right here, and then we've got wishes right there. So we've got that. So let's move that out of the way. We're going to get this snow globe on the card. It's got to go up a little more. It kind of covers that number 23 right there. And then we're going to get this one on. The same with inking. You could definitely ink these cards if you wanted to. You guys, I did it again. It's so funny. Okay, on your picture, they've got these two switched. So if you are following along with the directions and not doing the Kelly thing, I've switched these two around. I don't really think it matters. It's just funny. Okay, then Holly Jolly does, I want to pop that up. I like to give dimension to these cards. Some people kind of worry about mailing them and things, and if you worry about that, then just don't pop them up. They do have dimension without it because this piece is chipboard, although I had mentioned it's a pretty thin chipboard. It's not your normal chipboard that when you get chipboard stickers, it's going to be thinner than your chipboard stickers. Okay, so we got Holly Jolly going on about right here. And then I thought we would pop this piece up also, this little piece of greenery. It's going right here. And then wishes I'm going to make flat. So this little chipboard word says wishes. It's black. And we're going to put that right under here. Holly Jolly wishes. My fingers are getting sticky, you guys. Things are starting to stick to it. And then we're going to put a couple stars here. Got to wipe off my glue press. So we're going to put a couple stars there. Let's see. Actually, these are big enough. I think I can just pick these up with my hand. Not a problem. And then we've got another star we can put over here. And then Holly Jolly wishes, and it says, may your heart and home be filled with the Christmas spirit. And that goes on the inside. And I need to trim this just a little bit. When you get the card inserts, if you get the card inserts, they have very faint lines, cutting lines. So you can see here you have these outside lines are your cutting lines. And you can always cut them smaller, like I mentioned earlier, or you can cut them right along those cutting lines and get your maximum bonus. So let's open this up and put this inside. And you can see that I've got Holly Jolly Wishes written on the back. So I would know what card this goes with. And then we do have, you are going to have some extra little things. And I think we'll put a sprig in here. Now, if you joined us late, doesn't that look nice? I'm going to do one more thing with this card. If you joined us late, we had a comment, a suggestion from Heidi, which I love. She said when she gets a card kit from Simple Stories, she grabs a sheet of their stickers and then decorates the insides or the envelopes or whatever you might want to use these on. And I have to tell you, Heidi, if you're still on, I have never thought of that before, so I love that idea. So here, we're going to take our twine and we're going to add it up here to the top of our card. This is another accent piece. Oops. Just because I said earlier, you can add as much as you want. Diane has made a couple suggestions on things you could add to your cards. And I said how much I love twine, so I'm just going to add that. Again, that's nothing you really have to add. I just like it. It makes me happy. So holly jolly wishes, may your heart and home be filled with the Christmas spirit. We are going down to our last card, guys. We're on card number 8, which is the really fun one that's got the car on it with the tree on the top. It's this one right here. It says spreading joy. That's our next card. Card number 8. All right, let's dump this out. Get everything out of there. Okay, so for card number 8, we're going to need our background piece. And it's got kind of a navy or a blackish border with the gingham in the middle. And this is another horizontal card. And then we have this little strip also for the background. And we have another oval that's not an oval, which I just love. So we have another oval that's not an oval. And then the other piece from the punch out you're going to get is this little word spreading with the holly on it. Oh, I guess the car is a punch out also. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could watercolor this. If I would have thought of that, I would have brought some of my Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. You could like paint the tree or something and be kind of fun. And then the rest of the pieces are chipboard. So we have joy and we have another greenery sprig and we have 3 stars. A red, black, and kind of a light red. So let's fold our card base. And let's get our background piece and we'll put this on first. If you're crafting along, I hope we're going at a good pace for you. It's nice of me to ask when we're on the last card, but you can always pipe in and make a comment. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Okay, so we're going to have this piece goes along the bottom, and it's going to end up kind of grounding your cards. When you have images like cars or people standing, it's nice to have them grounded so they're not like in midair. And it goes right along the bottom here so that right along that black or dark navy strip. The next thing we need to put on is our circle that's not a circle. And we're going to put the larger side on the bottom. I don't really think it matters. And I got to tell you, it's not like I've put everything in the right place today. So if you want to change it up, please do. So we'll put that down. Man, my fingers are really gluey. All right, now let's just look at it and see what goes where. So we're going to have the car here. And then we're going to have spreading kind of right here below the car. And we're going to have joy about here. And then we've got this that kind of goes behind the car. And then we've got some little stars. So I suggest you kind of, when you're making cards like this, that you just kind of plan it out a little bit like this and not do what I've been doing. So we're going to put the car flat because we have things that overlap it. When things overlap, I like to put that item down more flat than not flat. Okay, so we got our car down. And we had the word spreading, and they've got spreading kind of overlapping slightly on the wheel, and joy is there. So let's do spreading, and we're going to do that flat. It also kind of grounds your car. And then joy, I'm going to put some foam squares on the back of this. I put 4 foam squares here. And then we got to have our joy. And then we've got this floral piece. That goes right here. It's kind of like the exhaust from the car, actually. And then we have 3 stars, and we're going to put a couple here. So I like to just put a dab of glue and then put the stars in. You could put, you know, your adhesive on your star and then put it on there, but that's just how I do it. It's easier for me than trying to like hold a little star and put glue on it. I feel like my fingers have gotten bigger and more awkward as I've gotten older. So there's our 3 stars. My joy is a little, there we go. And so the inside, it says spreading joy. Wherever the holidays take you, may your season be filled with joy. And isn't that so clever, Janet? Because you got your car and you're like going somewhere, and then she took that same theme with the inside of the card piece. And you'll see I wrote spread joy on the back, so I knew where this one went. So we'll put this on the inside. And this time there's a bunch of stars left over. So let's put a star here, and then let's do 3 here. There's quite a few of these little stars. These are the little punch out stars. So we might as well use them, right, guys? Oh, here's a green one. So those were extra pieces that we just went ahead and glued down inside. So spreading joy, wherever the holidays take you, may your season be filled with joy. See, spreading joy, filled with joy wherever you get taken. And since this is our last card, I think we need to go ahead and pull those gems out and see where we're going to put some gems at, which I think we could put some right over here on these little berries. And I'm using different colors, just you could do all the same color per berry, per cluster if you want to. And let's put some on these flowers. And I need a tiny one for here. You know, it's sometimes it just seems so quiet in these in these videos. I'm not used to quiet. Doug says it's hard for me to not be talking um, when it's quiet. So the other thing that you can do with gems that we haven't done, and I don't, let's see, let's do it on this card. All right, so spreading joy, and then we've got wherever the holidays take you, may your season be filled with joy. So let's go back because you can also, we put a lot of the gems on flowers and the berries, but you know what? They're kind of cool on stars too. So I want to take, let's just put a few, and I just slide them off. So let's put some on these stars. Let's get a red one over here. So there we just put some gems on the stars to give you a different look. Okay, let's review. 8 cards, everybody. Boy, I need to get out my card tracker and check check off 8 cards. So let me move all this stuff out of my way. So we've got the one, may your days be merry and bright, and then it says sending holiday cheer to you and yours. And we just have to lay these out. This is where, okay, we might have to go back up a little bit, give a bigger screen. And we've got Here Comes Santa. May your days be merry and your heart be light. And we've got Glad Tidings with that really nice little bird. Oops, sorry guys, I'm getting off the screen. And may this season bring you peace and joy. Deck the halls with the patchwork trees, and we put the gems on top of the trees. Fa la la, wishes for a wonderful holiday season. And we have season's greetings with the presents. May your Christmas be merry and bright. We have Merry Christmas with the patchwork word Merry and the cute little stocking. And we added some gems to that. Wishing you a cozy Christmas filled with peace and joy. And then we have the last one, card number 8, spreading joy wherever the holidays take you. May your season be filled with joy. And then we have, I call this kind of the retro groovy holly jolly wishes. May your heart and home be filled with the Christmas spirit. So, oh my gosh, we did it. Look at all these cards. We made 8 cards. So how did you tell me how you liked that? How you liked crafting along? We've had a lot of craft alongs. We started that. Memory Bound started the craft alongs maybe 2 or 3 years ago. We started doing craft alongs and we really enjoy them, and we've got a lot of good feedback that you enjoy them also. So what I'm going to do now, oh, okay, one more thing before we go. Remember early on I said I found this Posca pen when I was scrounging up in the front counter here at Memory Bound looking for the tweezers. So you could take your Posca pen. Remember, Posca pens are paint. So you've got to shake them. You can hear, I'm sure you can hear that little roller in there shaking up. And then with the Posca pens, I never go right onto my project. I always take a piece of paper to make sure that it's thick. If it starts looking watery, then you know that you need to shake it some more. So there's a lot of good places you can put Posca little marks. You can do it on these little berries. And I'm going to show you that up close too. So I added the little white, I just added little white scoop marks to the berries to give them some dimension. Whoops, I just hit the camera. You could do it to the stocking, the heel or the toe of the stocking, if you just want to make some little lines here where there's curves. So that's an idea. Let's see, what else do we want to do here on the fly? You could, if you wanted to make some, you could do it here on these trees. You could even use this to take this tree and just put some little dots on it, some random dots. And I didn't plan this out, so what I'm showing you is pretty random. So if I did that, then I might just do some lines here on this tree. So you can see how it just changes it up a bit. So anyway, it's a good, you can always get your Posca pen, leave it out on your desk, and you never know when you're going to pick it up and just want to add a little something dimension to your cards. Okay, I think we're ready to flip the camera back. Oh, a lot of people say they love doing this today, which is nice. And it's 10:44, we're done early. So just want to remind you that it is World Card Making Day. And if you're watching live or later, we love it. Definitely love having you along with us. I'm going to flip the camera, turn this off and change cameras. And so you can see, so I can tell you all how much I enjoyed being here today. And let's see, what else do I need to show you? So World Card Making Day today is today. We do have some specials out there, and you can see them online on our shopping page. They're right at the top. They might be next to our Janine. We have a whole category at the top for our Janine Meyerowitz classes. We do have the two stamp sets that make great card greetings. One's called Party, one's called Thank You from Studio Light. Those are $5, so they're half off. So we've got those available for today. I really enjoyed making the all wrapped up cards with you, whether you were here live or later. Either way, hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed our craft along for World Card Making Day. We're going to be back on Monday. And on Monday, we're going to be doing a lot of demos with the oxide inks and making a little spiral fall book. Perfect that you're going to love. And you guys, it's the first time that I have ever used oxide inks. So I'm a bit of a novice, but I really enjoyed using them and hopefully you'll enjoy it too. And I think I'm looking to see if we have any questions left before we go. I think we're good. I think we're good to go and tell you goodbye. And thank you again so much for not only celebrating World Card Making Day with Memory Bound and our 24th anniversary this week, but for being part of our Memory Bound crafty family. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Janet. Thank you for being here on Saturday morning with us, linking and doing comments. And thank you for Diana, who, you guys, she got my card kit all ready for me. So she got everything sorted and it was perfect. So thank you, Diana, for your help. And we'll be back on Monday. I hope your rest of your weekend is super crafty. And we're going to be back on Monday, which I just said and said it again because I'm looking for this page to bring up. So see you soon, everybody.